Welcome to another game, and in the green we have St4rk, better known as Chris, and I'll just speed things up nice and quickly so we can get out of the Dark Ages. And in the red, Chris's partner will be Mad4rk. They will be playing against St4rk, who you all know, I've shown him before, and they'll be playing up against ImLudacris. So, in the purple, so let's have a look at the civs. Green, Chris playing as the Byzantines. Red, Mad4rk playing as the Aztecs. We have St4rk playing as the Koreans in blue, and in the purple, pink, we have ImLudacris, of course, playing as the Goths. So, going to be a quite interesting game. Yes, it is a 2v2. There has been a lot of 2v2s recently, which is always good because people enjoy them, and you know, they take a bit longer to cast, but what the hell. So, interesting facts about Chris, just straight off the bat. He's got build orders for everything. He knows exactly what he's doing. If he's going to be producing archers out of 2 archery ranges, he can tell you the exact amount of villages he'll need on wood and gold to sustain that for the rest of the game. So that's a cool thing to know. And it also brings up the other thing. There's a lot of different ways players play like this, which is mainly they can use build orders like Chris, or they can do what Viper does and what he says he feels his way through, which is normal. He knows round about the amount of units he needs on gold to be producing archers. He needs round about this, and if he's getting too much, he can add another archery range on. If he's getting too little, he can transfer some over. And that's another thing I actually really want to say to anybody out there who's playing. Do not be afraid to take like villages off wood and put them onto farms, or villages off farms and put them onto wood. You don't have to leave a villager on a certain resource once you send it there. You see that a lot in late Imperial, even early Imperial, early Castle. But yeah, that's something really interesting I decided just to say there, because lots of people don't get that. I know it feels weird sometimes, but it's the best thing you can do. So currently 6 minutes in, and what are we going to see from all the players? Well, Chris playing as the Byzantines. They do have access to cataphracts, of course, and if it goes to late Castle, Imperial, of course that's going to be really handy versus the Goth player, because of course he could be spamming Huskarls or halberdiers, and as we know, the cataphracts do quite well against both of them. Of course, as well, meaning he has access to hand cannons, so as well, opponent spams Huskarls, he can spam back with hand cannons. Thing on that as well is, he can probably go a lot of trash units, mainly skirmishes, which is really interesting, but because he's against a Goth player over here, Huskarls will just absolutely annihilate those, so he might be out against that. So let's have a look over here. We've got St4rk going in for the Drush right now, and I don't think Stark is expecting it. He has a few villages out here over on gold, potentially could lose a few of them if he's not careful right now. However, these villages here might get boxed in. Nope, managing to just get through there, taking a little bit of damage, but nothing too major. And this villager here being forced to run away there. These guys over here walling in. Going to wall in anywhere else. Doesn't look like it. Villagers over here could have to wall in. Scout, of course, getting attacked by those militia, because you want to have those militia busy. Everybody knows that. And he's going to try and walk past the town centre here. Doesn't lose a militia, but the wall off does go down, meaning that he is going to be behind. And there we go again. Going up. Stark hitting the feudal age at a reasonable time. We can see we've got Mad4rk as well. He's going up on 34 villages. Well, 34 population, which is quite interesting. If we go over to Chris, we can see he's on 33. Which, again, that's an interesting number to be going up with. It means you get up really late, like around the 14-minute mark. Which is actually horrendous in a 1v1 game. Because naturally your opponent will go up. They should be up by about 10:30, 11. And then if you get up at 14, you're pretty much screwed. You won't have anything you can do against the archers coming in, or the scouts, or whatever. It's just interesting to note how differently these games are played. Team games played very differently from 1v1. And militia just getting kicked off across the map there. So anyway, let's go have a look at what our players over here are doing. What are you going for? You're going for an archery range, so archer flush from you most likely. However, he's going out with the single archery and the single smith, meaning that he could be going for a fast castle. Chris, what have you got? Same deal. Could be going for that fast castle. Yes, there we go. So fast castling for Chris, explaining that the amount of population he had there quite early. And he's going to have to hold this fight off here if he's doesn't want to be in too much trouble. We do see a tower going up for Stark, though, on top of St4rk's wood, meaning it can do a lot of damage. Over here, Chris putting this tower up quite quickly, meaning he's going to be able to defend this area here without too much trouble. It means also he's going to be able to garrison most of those villages in, if any harassment comes. And of course Stark just forcing Spartacus to move his entire lumber camp to another place, which of course it really delays you in seconds between gathering wood, because as we do know, you do gather X amount of wood every second. I think it's 0.38 from memory, and every time they're not working, they're walking towards a new lumber camp, you're losing that. So, another archery range going up for Chris. It looks like he will be going for crossbows at this stage, mainly due to the fact that I'm just going to guess that, but apart from that, let's have a look. Archers, yes, crossbow upgrade should be over here, and looks like he's probably already done fletching then. Hopefully. See as soon as this unit comes out. Yeah, so he's got fletching, he just needs to get bodkin at this stage. We do see some of Ludacris's army inside Chris's base, but nothing he can't do with at this stage. However, that extra range that Chris is going to be able to get is really going to hurt against Ludacris right now. Archers coming through this section of the base here, getting picked off by these skirmishes. Nothing really too major going on at the moment. Just a little bit of harassment from all players. Towers, of course, going up on from Stark and Ludacris onto Spartacus and Orcus, which means, of course, there's going to be a little bit of extra damage there. We do see Spartacus trying to get a wall off on this side of the map, which is fair enough. His enemy is over here. However, he's going to need to wall this section here as well. And it looks like we're going to go see some harassment right now from Chris. Microing quite well right now. Of course, his opponent cannot have ballistics or thumb ring yet, and losing one archer there to two of his opponents. And 3, 4. You can see just how much this crossbow upgrade's helping. They do currently only have one range upgrade, well, the one range advantage, but once he gets bodkin, if he decides to get bodkin, he's going to have a 2 range upgrade, and that's absolutely crazy to have. It's like going up against halberdiers with archers, or just spearmen with archers. They have no range to get that damage, and so they just get killed off way too quickly. Over here, it looks like these towers just doing their job, some villagers just idling out around here, and it looks like right now we've got Spartacus pushing Stark back. So let's see if he decides to keep pushing. Yes, come on Spartacus, you're going to get some damage done. Villagers over here could be in a bit of trouble, and garrisoning up inside that watchtower. Ludacris. Anything else going over here? Chris looks like he's pushing in yet again. Going to be pushing in through this house, and it looks like he's going to be going for some damage here. Skirmishers should be able to take out these crossbows now. I was going to say the crossbows might be able to deal with them, but it's quite a small amount, so he's not going to be able to do all of that. We do have the market coming up, so we could either see cartography or even just trading off, trying to get to the Imperial Age at this stage. Let's actually have a look, if we have a look quickly. He does have quite a bit of gold available to him, so I wouldn't be surprised. Yes, looks like he just sold all his stone, or just used it all to build a castle. Can't see it anywhere. Can't even see what he's doing. What happened with all that stone? Maybe he built more town centers. No, there is a tower going up there. But apart from that, not a lot. Lots of harassment still coming in for Spartacus, killing off a lot of villagers here, as you can see, and being quite good with those units right now. We are seeing though Stark move into Chris's base. This could potentially do quite a bit of damage if he's not careful. Only losing one unit there to his opponent's 3, so that's pretty much worth it at this stage in the game. Can't really hold out too much. We do see Chris trying to hold these units in here. They do only have the one way out, which is over here, unless they of course come past this tower. But if he sits over here, he's going to force him to come back, well, past his archers to get up to this base over here. Have we seen bodkin? Yes, we have seen bodkin, so he has a 2 range advantage right now and quite an attack advantage. So we should be able to take his opponent down here quite easily, even though he had the hill advantage. Here we go, we've got Spartacus moving in from behind the lumber by the looks of it, and he's going to be able to force all these units off here, and maybe even get an over-response from Ludacris right now. More units are running forward for Stark. Looks like they're going to try and get some harassment into, yes, Spartacus. Spartacus or Stark? Stark for Spartacus? Yep. So there we go. So Chris has been in the Castle Age a lot longer than his opponents right now, so he's been able to ride that out and be able to do a lot more damage than that, which is really smart. It was thinking ahead a lot. His strategy paid off. He got up there. He did cop a little bit of harassment in the Feudal Age, but nothing too major. And right now, potentially going to lose a lot of villagers here. Those crossbows are going to be able to kill them off quite quickly. Maybe just taking arrow fire over there, but again, not doing a ridiculous amount of damage. And I can't even see what it's attacking. And not losing a crossbow there yet, so good effort so far. He does have that 1 armor upgrade, which is really handy when you go up against towers and town centers, because of course we do know that towers do have 5 attacks starting off with. They do get those upgrades, so every little bit of attack that you don't, well, take, it's a bonus. It really is. And we can see Chris, it looks like he's starting to put up a siege workshop out in front right now. And playing as the Byzantines as well means he's going to get really cheap skirmishes, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see him start maxing out on them quite soon. Either that or go up to Imperial Age, mainly due to the fact they've got that cheap Imperial. And let's actually have a look. He might even be thinking about going up soon. He is on 3 town centers so far, 4 town centers, so he is going to have quite a good boom. He is microing over here quite well, and looks like he might not win this fight, mainly due to the fact his opponent's got so many skirmishes out in the field, and they're just soaking up that arrow fire. Again, Archer's just hanging out back here. Wouldn't be surprised if he tries to come in and get some harassment on these units. And I'm surprised that we haven't seen the second armor upgrade for many people yet, mainly due to the fact it just helps out so much in just, well, archer warfare, as you could probably tell. Every little bit of damage you don't take is a bonus. So let's speed things back up while we're waiting for something interesting to happen. Economy of Chris right now looking pretty decent, honestly. He's got a fair few farms up, he's got his town centers to support that. No villages on stone, which is interesting. I might have thought we would have seen an early castle or something. Maybe for Chris, maybe drop his opponent with a castle. Chris currently up by like 700 points, so he's doing a great job. Spartacus moving in now with a bunch of elite skirmishers. This could be pretty damaging actually if he's not careful. If this town center doesn't go up in time, not going to be fun for those villagers. He does have a siege workshop out, however, I'm playing as Koreans, of course. He does get the automatic tower upgrades, and this Mangonel over here going to be able to kill off most of these skirmishers without too much trouble. Same with the war wagons. They do start off with 3 armor, which is absolutely great to have. So he's going to be able to do quite a bit of damage with them as well. We do see though, Spartacus looks like he is moving out to Ludacris's base, which what's he done? And town center going up over there. Chris moving in with his Mangonel right now, having quite a few there, and he did have a Scorpion before. He might have lost it though. Yeah, I think he did. Anyway, more archery ranges coming up for Ludacris, and actually Chris going up to the Imperial Age already, so it looks like we're definitely going to be seeing some Imperial Warfare here, maybe even just Arbalest, something like that. Could even see all the way up to hand cannons. Hand cannons definitely a good and viable option personally. Goss. Mangonel coming out here, one-shotting this one as usual, and trying to get some damage onto these crossbows, but not a lot happening on that. Mangonel here going to go for one shot by looks of it, changing formation there, taking minimal damage. So good play so far by every player on the game's pretty much had pretty good play done for them. But once Chris hits Imperial, oh, it's going to be dangerous. Castle is going up for Ludacris right now, which means we will see some Huskarls come out, and as soon as he hits Imperial, he's going to be getting those Anarcho and Perfusion techs, which means, of course, his barracks are going to produce 50% faster, and that means Huskarls can also be built at the barracks, so they will be produced 50% faster, which is absolutely crazy for remaxing. And over here, what else are we seeing? Nothing ridiculous. A few war wagons coming in to harass Chris. Should be able to deal with them. He's got a Mangonel there available to him. He's got some crossbows as well. Of course, war wagons aren't the most amazing unit in the game to get attacked by, because you can always deal with them. There's the Arbalest there. It looks like they will be able to take out these war wagons without too much trouble at this stage. So, of course, he does have 6+3 attack on them already, which is pretty good to have at this stage in the game. Huskarls are being created at this point, which means that there's likely to be quite a bit of harassment from Ludacris. But, of course, it's going to come down to how well Chris micros and plays the game, which is really important because everything's going to come down to that. Like usual games, everything will come down to how your opponent decides to play and how you decide to react to that. So, yep, good reaction there by Chris, chucking up a town center here to defend this gold, this section here. Should defend most of these villages without too much trouble. Looks like it's going to be quite good. Skirmishers moving in again. Mangonel there, though, potentially going to do quite a bit of damage. Only taking out 1 skirmisher, so that's not too bad. We do see a group of Huskarls moving in, though, for Ludacris. And I hope he has murder holes. It doesn't look like it. Again, Huskarls just soaking up this damage. 6+2 armor. Can't really ask for much more on them. Looks like we do have Spartacus finally dealing with these towers here by placing a castle down. And we might even see an Eagle Warrior spam from him later. But there we go, so we do see Cataphracts out in the game so far, which means he will be able to deal with these, well, Huskarls without too much trouble, because they do a great amount of damage as first infantry. And here comes the push from Stark right now. Spartacus trying to micro that Mangonel there, however, not getting it exactly right. And it looks like we've got no extra barracks, so I'm not expecting an Eagle Warrior spam yet. Chris doing quite well over here, and there's that mass hand cannoneers that I was talking about. Hand cannoneers, of course, going to be able to do a lot of damage versus Huskars, like you can see, just cutting them down at the moment. Of course, they are classed as an arch unit, but they do get a lot, well, they're classed as a gunpowder unit, but they do get a massive bonus versus infantry, which means up against Huskars, Eagle Warriors, things like that, they still do pretty considerable amount of damage. Like we're seeing here, they're just all getting cut down. We do see though lots of castles right now. Spartacus going up to the Imperial Age. Are we seeing mass barracks from him, or what's his plan of action right now? Mass barracks? Doesn't look like it. Could just be sticking with his skirmishes at this stage. Interesting. He does have a few monks out, so he could be going for a massive monk skirmisher push. Definitely able. We do see he has got bombard cannons out over here, so he is looking to start doing some damage. Once this castle goes down, of course, there will be no more production of Huskars unless he manages to get that anarchy tech. But again, has to be in Imperial Age for that, and I don't think he's gone up yet. I'm fairly confident he hasn't gone up yet at any rate. And of course, hand cannoneers getting absolutely decimated by the war wagons. Of course, Cataphract's going to be able to do a fair amount of damage to them, because of course they are a pretty decent unit. They do close in kind of fast, but they don't have a massive pierce armor, which it's really interesting to have. More war wagons moving in from this side of the map, so trying to get a little bit more harassment on Chris. But Chris playing like an absolute champion here, and just pretty much going to force Ludacris and Stark to resign quite soon. Especially once this castle goes down, it's going to be really hard to stay in the game. And there we go, still going over this side here. Looks like he hasn't noticed that gold pile yet, which is quite lucky. We do see villagers moving out forward right now, getting more stone. Could see another castle drop, especially as Koreans. Really important to have a lot of stone, because you can get those castles and those towers down, which are really one of the big bonuses to your civilization. And war wagons over here trying to get a little bit of damage. Of course, they do have 9+2, which isn't too bad, but villagers, of course, having that +2. It's damage. Damage is damage, I guess. Cavalry archers coming out for ImLudacris right now. Whether or not that was a misclick or not, I have no idea. But still, more trebuchets moving out right now. There is going to be a little push over here, but nothing else too big he can't deal with. This castle should go down. He doesn't have anything really left to repair it. No villagers left in the area. Hand cannons, of course, moving forward, meaning he's going to be able to do quite a bit of damage. And I would say he might have anarchy by now for these barracks, but can't particularly tell. And it looks like these guys over here will be able to do quite a bit of damage. Trebuchets, though, going to be able to do some damage to these war wagons, but of course taking damage from those war wagons, but they can be repaired fairly easily. So, excuse me, I literally just got up and had a Barocca. That's actually so bad, I apologize for that. But continuing to use those Cataphracts to take out these Huskars, which isn't a bad strategy. It's always good to do that. Huskars, of course, being quite good against anything that shoots arrows. So, going to really have to play this one off at the moment and try and get the damage. I don't think, though, that Stark and ImLudacris are going to get the damage they need to force Chris out here. Trebuchets, of course, just soaking up this damage, and naturally war wagons just soaking up the damage from this bombard cannon here. Again, it looks like Chris has lost his castle in this forward position here. However, these rams will be forfeit for it by the looks of it, mainly due to the fact these Cataphracts are taking them out quite quickly. And 3 castles up for Chris right now, so there's no way that Ludacris is getting in through here, especially without that amount of Huskars he did have. And Stark advancing up to the Imperial Age, so we could see the elite war wagon. However, the Fort Castle going up for Spartacus, which is always interesting because pretty much Aztec buildings, I believe, are some of the weakest buildings in the game because they don't get masonry or architects, any of those extra upgrades which give them HP. I don't think they even get the, I think it's hoarding tech that gives your castle an extra 1000 HP, but they don't get any of that, so it's really hard to do. We do see the Mangonel moving in for Stark though, and of course having that extra range is really not going to help too much against a Korean player, because he does of course get that team bonus where they do have a little bit extra. I love the fact that Chris has just let this tower stay here. It's not doing anything too bad, so he's just left it to do whatever the hell he wants. This just town center over here going to get taken out right about now. This area just being pushed down by Spartacus. This town center is going to be next. Villages over here going to get taken out, and so the villager might just survive. More trebuchet fire onto this town center, and we can see just both Chris and Spartacus doing an absolutely phenomenal job. Phenomenal job. They're doing a great job taking out their opponents at this stage. And there's not going to be a lot they can do. We can see right now, though, that he has got the Anarchy tech, which allows him to build these Huskarls from the barracks, but I don't think it's going to help at this stage into the game. There's a lot of hand cannons back here, lots of Cataphracts as well. I don't think he's going to be able to hold out anything like this, and this could be GG any second right now. Mangonel over here getting taken out quite quickly, and tries it pretty good, honestly, hitting only 1 unit there. That is a shit ton of monks, though, from Spartacus right now. And there's the GG from Ludacris, GG from Orcus, Ludacris going out there. And that looks like it's it, folks. Soon as Stark decides, and there's the GG from Stark, GG from Spartacus. There we go, and that is the game, guys. Chris pushing in extremely well. Most of this game did come down to Chris having so many monks, so he was able to kill these skirmishes without too much trouble, and of course convert any of his opponent's units. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next